Hi, glad you could join us. I'm Annette Sherman. The name of the program is Community. And we feel what we do is keep our community in mind, what's happening with people, with organizations, with theater, with all kinds of entities in our community. And today we have, I think, something that many, many of you are going to be interested in, because we are a community of older people. And as you get older, your mate seems to have a problem, and their problem is continuing to live as long as you do. Therefore, we find many people who are not married, or their marriage has ended with a demise, and they are at this point feeling kind of lonely and feeling they'd like to meet people, or like to meet someone else who perhaps will end up being their mate or not, or just be good company for them to go to the theater or to take a trip or to go to a restaurant. There's an organization that came to the attention of our organization, and it's called Sarasota Singles Society. Now, the name is a little bit, well, elegant, and I guess the organization is a little bit elegant. I have the woman who is the founder, and, well, let's introduce them. First of all, we have Sherry James, and Sherry is founder of Sarasota Singles Society. Okay, we're going to find out all about how that happened. We're going to leave no stone unturned, so prepare yourself.
Okay.
Then we have I don't have your name here.
I'm Nancy Price.
Okay, Nancy. Nancy Price and Sherry Janes. Okay. Nancy, you are life coach. What does a life coach do? Keep someone alive?
So just like any other coach, coaching for
swimming
or sports,
exercise.
I'm going to help you with your life and
to maintain it so I don't die?
To enjoy it and to be a more successful person.
Okay, I'm very happy with my success. I'm very happy with my happiness, so I don't need you. However, I am a widow. And I would very much, in our conversation before we went on camera, would love to meet interesting men. There aren't that many that qualify, in my opinion. Now, maybe I'm exaggerating my opinion, but I think that becomes true for everyone who lives past, let's say, 21, 25, 30, 35. And the older you get, the more, I would hope, the more interesting life you've experienced, the more travel you've done, the more restaurants, I mean, something is insignificant, well, significant to certain people, the more restaurants that you've tried, the more you've done, the more you've experienced. Therefore, your requirement in a friend, whether a female or a male friend, would be substantially equal or about the same as yours. Am I off target with that or on target?
Very true.
Okay, very true. I go to the head of the class in that. Now, this little article called Singular Sensation was was by Sue Byron in the Sarasota Herald Tribune in their magazine section that comes out, I guess it's once a month. And my assistant, who is her formal title is, what is your formal title? Associate producer. And that you heard her say associate, that's all she says all the time, associate. No, she has many more words than just associate, but I can never put associate to her because she's a dear friend and a very bright and a very able assistant. So she found this article, and she said, this sounds like something our viewers would like to know about. So I said, okay, Lucy, you handle it, book the show. but she doesn't usually need my approval. She goes ahead and books a show that she thinks is something worthwhile, something our viewers would like. But in this instance, we were kind of excited about it because we thought there are many, many people, as you well know, in our community some are divorced, some are widows or widowers, who really would love to meet people. Not necessarily to marry, or not necessarily to marry. That doesn't roll it out. But someone that they'd like to go to a restaurant with, or take a cruise with, or go to a lecture with, or theater with. And all of that kind of thing is what, well, okay, let's go back. Let's go back and Sherry, tell me about Sherry, your background, your little bit where you're from, that kind of thing.
I'm from Orlando.
Oh, you're
native
Floridian.
Floridian, one of those rare few. I lived there most of my life.
You what?
I lived in Orlando most of my life.
Most of your life.
However, after college, I went to work for an airline. I became a flight attendant, stewardess, living in New York City, based in New York
What
City.
a change.
Yes. So that was quite an experience for me. I worked for Eastern Airlines. I was a flight attendant.
But it broadened your horizons.
Absolutely, yes. So
Were you married at the time?
No, you were not allowed to be married and have a family at that time. So I flew as a flight attendant for a year and a half, was invited to go into management, became a supervisor of flight attendants at Kennedy Airport.
Okay. Okay, now, then you found yourself widowed?
No, actually, I met someone. We wanted to get married and start a family.
Oh, you were young.
Yes, I was very young. But I have to go back and say that my experience living in New York City and working for an airline, traveling, contributed a lot to what I do today.
How so?
I had the experience of living in New York City and attending many live performances. I was totally captivated by Broadway. I also got to meet, I was in a position.
It's also very difficult. I'm a New Yorker, and I've lived in various other places. But meeting people in New York is like walking into a train that's going 100 miles an hour. I don't know why I likened it to that, but it's like it's a crash kind of thing, and it is very, very difficult to get to know people because it's such an active kind of lifestyle, and there's so many attractive people, and so many people who don't want to meet you, but they'd like to meet a member of their own sex. They're gay, and so you meet gay men, you meet straight men, you meet possible dating material, or maybe good conversationalists if you're lucky. So, but very difficult, no matter where you are, whether it's New York, whether it's Sarasota, whether it's wherever, to meet people that you would like to spend time with.
Very true.
Where were you in your life when this idea occurred to you and seemed like a good one?
This was about 6 years ago when I moved to Sarasota.
What brought you to Sarasota, and why Sarasota?
It was I had a business in Winter Park, Florida, for over 20 years.
What kind of business?
I had a small mini chain, 3 stores, boutique, home and gifts and decorative accessories. So I sold my business, moved to the mountains in North Carolina, lived there for 15 years. And I enjoyed that peace and serenity, nature.
I don't want time to run out, and we've got a lot to talk about. And at a certain point, you became aware that people need a little help
Yes.
a little planning in meeting other people. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they want the people they meet are marriage candidates. They may or may not be. They may just be friends. They may just be people who enjoy the same restaurant that you do, or the same theater that you do, or the same shop that you buy your clothes in, whatever. But somebody that comes together as a friend and someone who adds to your happiness because they share things with you and probably enjoy similar things. That could also apply to a mate or a husband or a wife. At some point along the line, you decided that this is an interesting thing to pursue. Tell us
I
about that.
moved to Sarasota, did not know a single person.
Well, it's easy to love Sarasota, even from a distance. A special town, a special place. So you moved to Sarasota, didn't know anybody.
Right. Had
Not unusual for people to do.
Right. Had difficulty meeting people. I had a chance meeting with someone who we connected. She told me about a singles dining club that she had for many years in Chicago.
That she ran, or she
Yes.
she originated.
It sounded like a great way to meet people, and
And a lot of work, but this didn't stop you.
But I looked and researched. There was nothing like that here, because when I heard about it, I thought that would be a perfect way for me to meet people. Didn't exist here, and at some point it just became, well, maybe there needs to be an organization like that
So
here.
you intelligently saw the need and saw the possibility of doing it, and it
Yes.
seemed like an interesting thing to do, seemed like fun, and even seemed like probably an interesting business endeavor.
A way for me to meet a lot of people and offer that same opportunity to other single people in the area.
Okay, I'm going to hold off for a moment with you. Nancy, tell me a little bit about your background and bring us up to the point that Sherry is at.
My background is that I have been a therapist, and after traveling all over the world as a State Department employee and therapist,
Interesting.
I came back to the United States and decided to be a life coach. And so in coaching single people, I had the opportunity to meet Sherry. And together we decided that we might do a workshop on being single.
Okay, let's move forward because I just got a time cue. We only have 15 minutes and we're not even there because we've used some of it. Tell us what happened, Sherry. How does it work? Somebody, now they're going to see this program. We're going to give them, in fact, put a phone number on the screen, would you please? Whoever is doing that, we'll put a phone number on the screen. It's going to go on just very shortly to call. Very shortly. Here it is. Okay. What happens? They're watching now. They say, oh, that looks very interesting. I like what they're talking about. I like what they're saying, that there are events, the theater to go to, or cocktail parties to go to, or a little trip to go on. And it would be a fun way to meet people. And they seem like very interesting women who are about the age of my viewer. And they're going to take that number down and they're going to call. What happens then?
They either call me and I will give them more of an explanation of what I offer, or I have a very complete website where they may go and read exactly what
And go over it a second time, let a friend look at it. The website, is that on the screen now, the website? I guess it's going to go on the screen, but we'll give you that in just a moment or two. I think that's it. Or that's your telephone number. If they can get you that way as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If they are computer savvy, they might want to go to my website.
And if they are computer savvy, tell them to call me.
Because I have a complete description of how I promote my organization and what I offer.
Okay. Important, very important, because this is not your ordinary kind of thing that I think your goal is more magnanimous. Your goal is more personal, but it's not personal that hey, you have to marry him or he has to marry her. It's not that. It's people that you want to meet because they're interesting, people that you want to meet because they may want to, because you love theater. And you'd love to go with someone who also loves theater, and he happens to be a man and you happen to be a woman. Well, that's a nice combination. So that's perfect. Or there are parties, maybe for Easter, or maybe for Christmas, or maybe for Halloween, or I don't know what. But something, a place to go, you say, hi Sherry, hi Nancy, hi Mary, hi Sue, hi Bill, hi Joe. Okay, and you know these people and they're friends of yours, and I think it becomes very important at a certain time in your life for most people. If they lose their spouse, they lose that married connection of all their married friends, because the married friends are off with married friends, so that the need for single people new in their life becomes important. That's when you want to call an organization such as what we're talking about. What do you call your organization?
It's the Sarasota Singles Society.
Okay. And it's Sarasota Singles Society.com. You can get in touch with them, www.sarasotasinglesociety.com. That may be a good thing to do because, phoning is a good thing to do as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that you can take them along on, or not take them along literally, but suggest certain activities that are coming up in the future and have them join you and meet some of the other people. The whole premise of your organization is what?
I do not promote my organization as a matchmaking entity, but an opportunity for singles to attend very nice upscale social events, cultural
entertainment events,
cultural
restaurants, what have you.
Cultural events, and also wonderful travel.
Okay. All of these things have been worked out by the two of you and those people that are on your staff. Money. People are always curious. Is there a large sum of money that has to be paid?
No. I charge no membership fee.
No membership fees?
No.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what you're hearing now is an opportunity to meet people. These two ladies are probably very real examples, attractive women, intelligent women, women who are have experiences in their life that I'm sure sharing would be fun and interesting. And people like nature, interesting, attractive, people who've done things, would like to do other things with other people, and would like to meet people, women, men, people. So this is a wonderful opportunity, and they're very, very complimentary in Sarasota Magazine. The title is New in Town, but you're really not new in town, but it's reactivated in town. Then it says Singular Sensation, which is kind of a lovely tribute, that it's a singular kind of fun thing, very different. Okay, I think it's a wonderful idea. I really do, ladies, and I think it is needed. It is the kind of thing that sometimes people don't realize that they're missing, but they are missing it terribly, and it's making its way into the unfortunate aspect or unfortunate side of their life, because they know they missed something, but they're not sure what, and it's companionship.
Absolutely.
And it's other people who are in similar situations. I know I loved going into homes of married friends and seeing their grown children visiting or their grandchildren there. And this is something that if you don't have, you wish you did have. But it's the same thing with relationships. Whether they're male friends or female friends, friends to do things with, friends you like to be with, friends who like to be with you. Is that about saying what your organization is doing?
Absolutely. I attract a lot of recently widowed people, recently divorced, recently moved to Sarasota, people who need to recreate their life.
And it's very important to have somebody to stand there and say, and you're trained to do this, to help them get over those hurdles. To say, so many have done it before and they're doing fine. Now I'm going to help you get over those hurdles because you need a little help because it's new to you. And the same thing, you're going to provide people, male, female, people that I don't only want to meet men. I would like to meet charming, attractive, interesting men. But I also like to meet charming, attractive, interesting women as friends as well. So I'm sure many people are in that situation. Call the number on your screen. Put that number on the screen, please. Put the website on the screen as well so you can get more information. I urge you to call. I urge you rather to check the website for the simple reason that you may or may not get a human being when you call. You may get an answering machine because you can't be there all the time answering the phone. And sometimes that answering machine does not have the ability to answer the questions that you have. So if you go to the website, I'm sure, knowing these two women, the website is very complete with information that you want, need, and be very happy to get. So by all means, do that. Keep in touch. There's a telephone number there. Let these women know I called and I have an opportunity to come to one of your occasions, or I went to one of your occasions and I had such a great time. I met this lovely lady who shares my background. I met this gentleman who dated me, and I'm having dinner with him tonight, in fact. And thank you very much. So how about that?
That sounds exactly right.
A little bit about your background. Did you tell us about your background? I asked, or I had it in my notes, but I didn't ask you.
You know, actually, I started this organization to make friendships of all kinds, offer that same opportunity to other people. And I actually met a very wonderful man myself, not really expecting to, through our events. And he also went on some of my travel that I offer. Simon and I got married, having met through my events and travel. Most unfortunately, after having met this wonderful man, 2 months after our wedding, he was diagnosed with terminal cancer and he passed away.
Well, hopes and dreams. Hopes and dreams. Tell me about yours.
My background is that I have been a therapist and I've worked with people from all walks of life going through very difficult and challenging times. So getting together with single people, whether it's because they're suddenly single, going through a divorce, having lost a spouse, sometimes they need a little coaching. Sometimes they need a little reassuring.
Sometimes they need a hand to hold.
Yes, and just someone to listen to them and also help them.
And someone perhaps who's gone through a similar kind of situation.
Exactly.
Say, honey, darling, you're going to get through it. You'll be fine.
Right.
And we'll see each other, and I'll keep in contact with you, so I'm going to be your friend.
Yes, and having experienced divorce and being a widow myself, but also having been a counselor
Very important.
or a therapist to hundreds of people throughout these decades. I've heard it all, and I think that I can be effective with just about anybody entering into the time when they're single again.
I have thanked God and thanked whatever powers that be for the dear, wonderful friends that I have.
Yes.
And they really held my hand, not necessarily literally, but held my hand through these times. I don't know what I would have done without them, because they were there for me. They encouraged me. They made me go forward, and I did, and I'm happy that they were there. So friendships are a very, very important thing. Why don't you call this organization and see if there are people there that do the same for you, that add some light and some happiness to your life. And they may be also men or also women, but beside the point, they also may be of the opposite sex. And won't that be fun? Ladies,
happens.
I know that you, by meeting you today and chatting with you, I see where you're coming from. And where you're coming from is something that not only is a business endeavor, but it also gives you both a great deal of pleasure and satisfaction because you look at these people and you see they're better for what you do. So thank you for what you're doing. And remember, it is the Sarasota Singles Society.com. And that's the one way to get in touch with them. The other is the telephone number, and it's 828. Where does that come from?
I lived in Highlands, North Carolina.
So you wanted to keep the number?
Yes.
Because it was on your station? 82, it probably has 828, yes. 450-8845. And then you will probably get either a message that tells you when either of these two women will be available, or you'll get one of them live and in person, and expect to have a very interesting chat about your situation, and then forward to meet some of the other people that are members of this organization. Is there a membership fee?
There is no membership fee. People are welcome to attend any event of their choice.
Okay, so you join and you say, here's the events list. And, I want to go there, and I'd love to do that. I'd love to go to the Oslo, and I'd love to and that's the kind of thing that happens.
I actually have all my events, upcoming events, as well as travel opportunities on my website.
We have 1 minute left. 1 minute, just enough time to suggest. You'll never know whether it's a wonderful organization just ideally for you or not unless you get in touch with them and actually experience what they do and who they are. But if these two women are the example, I would recommend them. Continue with your wonderful work. It brings a lot of happiness to people. And it doesn't have to bring marriage. It can bring happiness. You could just have 2 dates, go to dinner, meet a woman that you like to go shopping with. Doesn't matter, but it will improve your life. Get in touch with these women. Congratulations on a well-done organization.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
My pleasure. We're out of time. Bye-bye for now.
The time really flew. We bid you adieu from community. If you want to know why we love it here, so check out Community. Well, it's a who's who, a what's, when, and where show. It's a mover and shakers who care show. Meet